Hey guys, today we are going to start talking about functions, and this video is just going to be a broken down piece of functions, and basically we're going to find out what is a function and how can I tell whether or not a graph is a function. The first thing that we need to do is define what is a function. So in a previous video, I gave an introduction to expressing relations, and now we need to decide whether the relation we're given, is it a function or is it not? Functions are relations, but not every relation is a function. And so in this video, we're gonna learn how to tell whether that graph of a relation is or is not a function. So for starters, go ahead, pause the video and write down this definition for a function. A function is a relation where every member of the domain is paired with exactly one member of the range. In other words, an x-coordinate cannot be connected with more than one y-coordinate. So if I see that my domain has the number 4, 4 can only be connected with one other y-coordinate. If I see in the domain 4 appears twice and is connected with two separate, completely different numbers in the range, then I know that is not a function. Let's go ahead and compare and contrast something that is a function and something that's not a function. So make sure you write this down. Remember, a function is where each x value has only one y value. So this right here is a function because I notice as I go across the x-axis, each of these values that I'm seeing is only paired up with one y value. None of the x values are paired up with more than one. Now, if I go over to this example of function, that means I'm going to have at least one of the x values, could be more, are going to have more than one y value. So on this graph, I can see that, let's say it's -4. It's paired up with the y value of 1 and the y value of -3. So this x spot is touching two different y spots. Same with if we come over here, this x value is paired up with this y value and this y value. So this is not a function because its x values have more than one y value that they're connected with. The easiest way to tell if a graph is a function or not is to do the vertical line test. So what that means is you are going to imagine or even take your pencil and hold it vertically, so straight up and down, and you're going to drag it across the graph. If you drag it across the graph and no 2 points of the relation are touching your pencil at the same time, then it is a function. If you get to the point where you're dragging it across and all of a sudden your relation is touching it in two different spots, then it's not a function. So for example, I take my marker and I'm going to drag it across what I already know is a function. The vertical line test, I've got my vertical line, I'm dragging it across. At no point in time did this relation touch my marker in two spots. But if I take it across what I know is not a function, right at the beginning, I'm already touching the marker here and here. I am touching it in more than just one spot. So anytime, it could happen at any time. Maybe it doesn't happen at the beginning and it does later on when you're dragging it across. At any time, does it touch more than one spot of your pencil, your marker? You could use your hand, your finger, you could just imagine a line going across, then it is not a function. So that's what we call the vertical line test. So that's all I have for you today on how to tell whether or not a graph is a function. So like I said before, all functions are relations. All functions can be expressed on a graph, but not all relations, not all graphs are going to give you a function. Just like this one. This was a relationship being displayed. It's on a graph, but it's not a function. So just remember that functions can only have one y value for each x value. See ya.